which is page 271 at the bottom. Our textbook is The Devil's Pulpit by the author Robert Taylor. Yeah, by Robert Taylor. All right? So let's pick it up. I'm going to start at the last paragraph, which is where we left off. All right? From the last class. This is the free astrotheology course. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Page 271 at the bottom, the last paragraph. And here, sirs, is the common solution of the Masonic riddle of seeking for Hiram Abiff. So there's one riddle, or let's say one game of hide and go seek that has to do with Freemasonry, right? Hiram Abiff. Where's Hiram Abiff? That's one. Remember, we're looking at the common solutions. Common solutions, okay? Next, of the mythical search of Ceres for Proserpine. So Ceres is a deity, C-E-R-E-S. Okay, so now, Ceres is searching for Proserpine. Okay, so that's a hide and go seek. Hide and go seek. You need to search. Okay, let's look at the third one. Isis searching for Osiris. Remember they said they chopped off his genital and she needed to find it and all of that. So that's a search. Okay, hide and go seek. And all the hide and seek nonsense and bo-peep fooleries which have been called mysteries, the Dionysian mysteries, the Christian mysteries, right? The Jewish mysteries. What are some of the other? Oh, the Dionysian mysteries, the Isis mysteries. So all of these mystery schools, which of course have their have been extended, or they are the basis of religion. So what the author is saying here is that religion, all of them, they just give you a game of hide and seek. Hide and go seek. For example, you need to go seek the Lord. Right? You need to search for God's name. Search out God's righteousness. So you're always searching. Hide and go seek. This is the game that they're playing with you. That's the religious game. Okay? Where does it come from? Was there a verse in the New Testament that says, search and you shall find? Something like that? It's a game, y'all, to keep you on the treadmill. You know, like a little hamster running on the or a squirrel running on the treadmill, exerting all that energy. Always moving, but going nowhere. You got a lot of action, but you are not accomplishing anything. Now, y'all, look at yourself. Look at you and your religion. What have you accomplished? With all that you have given, all that you have devoted in your life, what have you accomplished? What has your church or your camp, your Hebrew Israelite camp, your Christian church, your Jewish synagogue, or whatever that organization is, what have they accomplished? Right? You've been running on that hamster wheel. What have they accomplished? You've been giving them a tithe. You've been contributing to this fund and that fund. What have they accomplished? Have they built and maintained any hospitals? Have they built and maintained any industries? Everybody knows the answer is no. Have they done anything substantial for the people that they serve and their communities? No. Everything has gone down as a result of all of these religions. Y'all, I'm sorry, there's a mosquito just started to bother me. Or is it a fly? Okay, so what does the scripture say? You know a tree by its fruit. Okay, so if your religion hasn't produced any fruit, and don't talk about spiritual people and religious people. Y'all know how that game goes. Y'all know how the game of religion goes. Okay, what have they built that's tangible? Other than the pastor or the clergy building bigger and better houses, buying bigger and better houses, mansions and cars and planes for themselves. What have they built for you that have made a difference in your life? You know the answer is absolutely nothing. You know it. You know it's zero. Okay? But they grow their organization, don't they? But does it benefit you? Absolutely not. But they got you playing hide and seek, just like when you were a child. Hide and seek. Now you're 50, 60, 70, 40, 30 years old. Still playing hide and seek, but now it's hide and seek in the church or in the Hebrew Israelite camp or in the Hebrew Israelite camp. Okay? So the author gave you the common solution. And here, sirs, is the common solution of the Masonic riddle of seeking for Hiram Abiff, of the mystical search of Ceres for Proserpine, of Isis for Osiris, and all the hide and seek nonsense and bo-peep fooleries. He's talking about religions, which have been called mysteries, mystery cults, right? Christian mysteries, I already went through that, etc. Sanctuaries, solemnities, awful considerations, sacred, secret, holy, bladderdash. In other words, he's saying all of that is a bunch of BS, no matter what terminology they use. It's a bunch of BS, and it's all about you seeking something that has been hidden. You're seeking the what? God's name. The proper pronunciation of God's name. How God's name is spelled. All of that. Nonsense. Foolery. Because if you study it out, you'll find out the truth is that all of these major deities are solar deities. They all conform to the to the Zodiac model. That's why they call it astrotheology. Yeah, Jesus is Hercules, is Apollo, is Jupiter. All of these are the same. They are reflections of nature, okay, that have been personified or anthropomorphized into deities to take you away from yourself, and you are, believe it or not, quote unquote, connotatively God. Psalms 82:6. Not the creator of the universe. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you are thought made manifest from the land. And you have the absolute power to control your own thoughts. And it is through your thought, through your imagination, through visualization that you create the world around you. So you have been creating a world around you that you don't want. Because you don't understand natural law. And you don't understand the Hermetic law of mental gender. Okay, so you've been hypnotized. That's called knocked over the head, Hiram Abiff, and buried in a shallow grave. Okay, and you are civilly dead in your religious state of mind or in your lower self behavior. All right, now let's continue. So let's get back to this. So all of this holy babberdash, all of these religions, which they have adhered to, as if they had thought that reasons was given to them for no other end than to employ all their ingenuity. Y'all got that? All your ingenuity, all your creativity, all your innovation all your labor, all your effort, all your skill to get rid of it. Okay? Wow. Now we're on page 272. While all the mysteries of our text, what are these mysteries of the text? You look at, let's say, the Old Testament, the New Testament. Okay? You consider Jeremiah 8, chapter 8. The scribes have written lies into the book of the law. The book of the law has been converted from a book of law into a religious book. So they created religion. They converted or anthropomorphized. It's telling you right there in Jeremiah 8, chapter 8. They anthropomorphized nature, natural law. Anthropomorphized it. Okay? They created deities out of natural phenomena. It tells you right there. And then they set up around that rituals and ceremonies. And then they got you to bow down and worship it. Okay? That's what's happening here. So you're in a constant game of hide and seek. You left the Christian church and you went into Hebrew Israelitism. But then a lot of y'all, you go through that and then you realize, wait a minute, this ain't it either. Okay, there's something more to it. What am I missing? Well, what you're missing is that the real issue is man, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, man made manifest from the thought plane. Let me repeat that. Man who is thought made manifest on earth from the soil, from the land, Genesis chapter 2, who has been attacked and is being attacked by the hybrids. And the whole issue is about birthright. Who's going to enjoy the birthright? In other words, who's going to enjoy the bounties that Mother Earth gives every harvest? The gold and the silver that's in the land, the substance. Who's going to control and enjoy it? Who's going to be the noble or the nobles on earth? And who are going to be the bondmen and the bondwomen? That's really the issue. It all boils down to that. This is the Jacob and Esau story. And there's issues with that. I won't bring it up now, but I'll just make the point. Okay, that's what's really happening. You're the rightful heir, and you've been hit over the head, put in a civilly dead state, and now you are the bondman or the bondwoman, calling on external deities, completely living out of harmony with nature, and the hybrids are pretending to be you and living large off of your birthright while you sit there like a fool in religion, begging and borrowing, accepting the role as a poor person, accepting the role as someone who can't help themselves, or you need this God to help you. You need other people to help you. When the truth of the matter is all you need to do is study yourself and know who you are, and then start to enforce natural law. And by the way, in Morocco, in North America, natural law is the Constitution, the organic Constitution, the Republican form of government, all right, in which we are the people, we are the rightful heirs, okay? We are the rightful heirs of all land, all water, all resources, all, not some, all contracts, all commerce, all energy. It is ours by birthright. That's called grace. That's called charity. And guess what, y'all? This notion of God gets paid when you get possession of and enjoy your birthright. We read that in the last couple paragraphs ago. We read that. Yeah. That's right. Quote unquote, God gets paid when you enjoy the magnificent harvest. That's called living a wealthy and rich lifestyle, y'all. That's when God gets paid. Let me repeat that. God gets paid when you live a wealthy and rich lifestyle. That's you in the blessings. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14. That is you in the blessings. Your rightful condition and state. That's when God gets paid. Y'all need to think about what that means. You don't get paid until you go labor for 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And then they got you in the hole for what, 1 week or 1 month, depending on how you get paid, 2 weeks? They got you in the hole. You get paid after you labor. But as it is here, according to nature, God gets paid when you sit down and accept and enjoy the charity given to you. From what? From where did it come, yo? The S-U-N, Son, which is masculine energy through the Holy Spirit, right? So Mama Earth, feminine energy. All of this is nature. So you got your concept backward. You're supposed to get paid when you live in harmony with nature, when you are the higher self, when you are the Christ, not after working and laboring and slaving. See, the concept is off, okay? And they taught you that on purpose. Anyway, let's continue. You should keep that in mind. You should keep that in mind. It is your right. It is your right, Moors, autochthonous men and women. It is your right to enjoy your birthright without doing any work for it. That's right. It's your right. You're the beneficiary. Okay? You need to change your thinking. Okay? Change your thinking. This is called what? Reversionary rights to the estate. It's yours by birth. How can a foreigner come, especially a hybrid, come and take it and claim ownership over it, other than what? Other than you are totally disconnected from nature and you do not understand that that is yours by right of birth to enjoy. To enjoy. Okay? To own and possess. Simply by you coming out of your mom's womb on the earth plane. All right? So man, know thyself. More, know thyself. And I'm not talking about a religious or a club. I just told y'all, I'm talking about all of us who have our origin in thought. So hermetically speaking, that would be mentalism, the law of mentalism, thought. Those of us who are thought at our essence, we've always been, always will be, and we are here now. Okay, and Hiram Abiff is resurrected here. But what about with you? That's the issue. You have to resurrect yourself. Okay? So, here we are. Thought made manifest from the soil. It's all yours anyway, because thought is what? All thought, all consciousness, all information, all knowledge that there ever was or that there ever will be. All awareness. Okay? All. There never was a time when man was not. Man is thought made manifest from the soil. Therefore, man is what? The well-established principle in law tells us that land is the substance and subject matter of the law. And when you look up land in a law dictionary, you will see as one of its meanings, you will see more. So mores are the substance and the subject matter of the law. Therefore, if it ain't about mores, it ain't about nothing. Okay? In other words, it's notwithstanding. All right, now let's continue. While all the mystery of our text, so hideous, so monstrous, so filthy, in the best sense that ever was or could be to it by those who are going about to get me the author says, to get me, the Reverend Robert Taylor, to get me immured in a dungeon, to get him locked up in prison, under the prison, for telling the truth, right? For telling the truth and revealing the gospel slayer, which is, it's a trinity. Everybody should know this. Etymology and philology. Science, which is astronomy and astrology. Those are synonymous terms when this was, years ago. All right, so we're not talking about horoscope, hocus pocus, crazy stuff like that. No. And then history, secular and mythological history. This is the gospel buster, the Trinity gospel buster. And he revealed it. All right? He revealed it, showing, using etymology and philology and the other two pieces of evidence that I just talked about, to show everyone in his community that they're actually worshiping the sun and natural phenomena. And that's what Christianity is all about. All right? And not only worshiping the sun, but they're worshiping the same entities that they call devils. Right? They're worshiping them, but they don't know it. All right? And cut off from the cheerful ways of men. So lock him up and don't let him have any communication with other men. Why? To shut him up and hope that he dies, right? As unworthy to exist in society. Do in this illustration come up to a dignity and grandeur which their sanctified idiocy never dreamed of, which their ignorance would not understand and their malice would not endure them. Now y'all should note that in Christianity, what do? Right? They will disfellowship you or excommunicate you, right? Shame you, ostracize you, cut you off from the rest of the people in the congregation or in the whole organization. Why? To silence you, disconnect you from your family, disconnect you from your friends. Why? To silence you. To silence you, and also hopefully what? Hopefully you'll turn to drugs, alcohol, become an addict, and then they can turn around and say, well, see, look what happens to people when they leave this religion. Right? Or he died. Look what happened. So you better not leave this religion. Look at his example. This is the mind game that they play. And then they hide it around these idealistic but impractical scriptures to justify it, right? But y'all believe it. Y'all believe them. Y'all already gave them your trust. So you accept it. No critical thinking questions, nothing. You just accept it. But you've been played like a cheap piano. Now let's continue. The blood of bulls and goats, the blood of crabs and fishes, the blood of any one of the animals whose imaginary forms enclose the group of stars which constitute the 12 signs of the Zodiac. Okay, so now we're getting into the Zodiac. Okay, Zodiac, zoo, animals. Aquarius appears to be an hermaphrodite. Can't tell if it's a man or a woman in the way it's depicted in modern times. And then, of course, there's Virgo, which is a woman. Okay, other than that, the rest are supposed to be animals or fish in modern astrology. Okay? But we need to go back in time, see how far back we can go and see how they were represented. Because some of the animals that represented them have changed. Okay? So let's continue. So the 12 zodiac signs were each in turn as this is a medical term. Efficacious for the salvation of mankind. So they were good for mankind. They were good. They were effective. They were as effective as the blood of Christ. As the ashes, y'all know the ashes really means dung or poop, boo-boo of the heifer, of the cow. That is, those bright, burning, and inextinguishable sparks which make up the form of the bull, that's Taurus, of the Zodiac. Sanctified, which means, or that is, sonified. So sanctified, sonified. So when something is sanctified, that means it's been exposed to the sun. Okay, if it's living, it retains the heat energy from the sun. Okay, so it's been sonified, exposed to the sun, like the vegetation, like the grapes. They absorb solar energy. They absorb sun energy. They have been sonified, which is remixed into sanctified. Okay, y'all? To the purification. Yes, the sun will purify. Y'all know the sun kills bacteria, right? It kills fungus. Sunlight will purify. That's right. Sunlight does disinfect. That is firification. So sonification, purification, firification. So exposure to the sun, which kills microorganisms, which the author is calling firification. This natural phenomena they put in religion as purification. Okay? Impregnating with the creative heat, of the solar fire, the flesh or animal food which the sun sun creates for us. So y'all, in my opinion, this is getting into the food chain. So the energy source is the sun. Energy is absorbed or flows into plants. The plants absorb solar energy, right? They absorb it and they use it to grow. And then the fruit of the plant and the plant itself has stored within it solar energy, right? They've been sonified, okay? And firification has taken place. They're pure. But now an insect can come along and eat part of the plant, and that solar energy has been transmitted into the insect who ate the plant, right? So the energy has been, or some of the energy has been transferred into the insect. And if another insect or animal comes along, like a frog or a toad, and eats that insect, well, guess what? Now, that frog or toad that ate the insect has consumed that solar energy. Okay, in addition to the solar energy that it's getting from its, through its skin and body. But in terms of nutrition and digestion and whatever processes or mechanisms might be, when one animal eats another, the solar energy is transferred. So the predator and the prey, right? The solar energy stored in the prey gets transferred to the predator. This is the food chain. So y'all, we're talking science, right? You can teach this to children all the way up to PhD level. It can get just as complicated as you want it to get. This is Moorish science. Okay, this is Moorish science. Let me repeat it. The science of the sun, the science of nature. This is Moorish science. All right, this is more astrological sciences, physics. This is Moorish science. Okay, biology, the medical. This is Moorish science. That's what Moorish science is. Law, Moorish science. All things are governed by law. The most fundamental things of the universe are what? The 7 Hermetic laws. Right? Now let's continue. Okay? But this and these only had their efficacy, that is, their astronomical accuracy. In other words, all of these are what? reflections, or stories that have their origin in astrology / astronomy as symbols of science according to the two covenants. Y'all should know what the two covenants are. Whenever you see me do the pen like this or like that, you should think equinoctial points. The two covenants, the spring or vernal equinox and the fall or autumn equinox. These are the two covenants, all right? So let's get to it. But this and these only had their efficacy, that is, their astronomical accuracy, as symbols of science, not symbols of religion, not symbols of mythology, symbols of science. Go look up the definition of science. Not that that's a complete or even accurate definition. That's just what's being used now in modern times. As symbols of science, according as the two covenants, that is, the point of the vernal equinox, the covenant of works. Remember, y'all, faith and works must go together. Covenant of work, faith and works must go together. The column is Boaz, right? Boaz. Boaz was responsible for putting all of the initiates to work, putting them to work, okay? That continues. The covenant of works and the autumn, that is the covenant of grace. The covenant of grace, that is the column called Jachin. Jachin was responsible for paying the laborers. They all worked under Hiram Abiff, who had all of the knowledge, who had all of the secrets, all right, as it were. Okay, so it continues. That is, the covenant of grace was in one or the other of these signs. These covenants change every 1,253 years. Y'all got that? In other words, the astronomical age in the Bible, they say the end of the world, right? In the New Testament, they'll say the end of the world, the end of the age, all right? That is a new astrological age in which springtime, according to modern astrologers, in which springtime will begin in a different sign. So springtime will begin in a different sign every 1,253 years. That's the astrological age. Okay? So, and it goes, if I remember correctly, it goes backwards due to the procession of the, well, it appears to go backward due to the procession of the equinoxes. Y'all can see that at the beginning of this book, and my book has been so beat up. I'm so sad about my book. It got caught in a rainstorm. But y'all can look at this page in the front of the book, and it gives you, let me try to, it kind of takes you through the procession of the equinox. All right. But the thing to remember is that a zodiacal age is 1,253 years. At least that's what it was said to be in 1831. All right. Radicals write, peace, brother, thanking for unpacking solar energy and relating to that. Thus, 7 Hermetic principles. Beautifully done. Very good teaching methodology. It's my pleasure, Radical. It's my pleasure. Pleasure is all mine. So back to page, this little fly is a menace. Back to page 272. These covenants change every 1,253 years. So, y'all, Taurus the bull, Moses leads the Israelites out of Egypt. That was the age of Taurus, okay? 1,253 years, okay? And then what happens next? We get the shofar, right? The Jews with the shofar. And by the way, with Taurus, Moses comes down, he has the 2 tablets with the law on them, and he sees the people. He sees the people worshiping what? The golden calf. They didn't want to leave. The astrological solution to that is that they didn't want to leave the age of Taurus, right? The story, as the story goes, in Egypt they were worshiping Apis the bull. That's Taurus. But Moses comes in and he brings in what? Aries the ram. So the Jews are blowing the shofar. Right? And by the way, they say Moses was the first lawbreaker because he dropped the law and they broke. Okay? At least those tablets. All right? So after the Jews with Aries and the shofar, they blow the shofar, right? And then comes in Pisces. Christianity is Pisces, the 2 fish. This is why Christianity, you see symbols of the fish associated with Christianity. All right, there's a whole bunch of stuff to do with that. I've already covered it on this book. Maybe one day I'll go into it again. But it is what it is. Each of these zodiacal ages are 1,253 years. Now, after Pisces, of course, is Aries. Remember, we're going back, not Aries, but Aquarius. We're going backwards. So many people say that we are now in the age of Aquarius. That's why we keep having, the earth keeps getting these major storm or water events, all right? Which, let's say the U.S. corporation is trying to take control of the narrative, according to some people, and say that it's through their heart weapons, their weather weapons, that they're creating all of these catastrophic water storms, be it tsunamis, hurricanes, right, storms. But then others will say, no, it's not that at all. It's just that we have just now entered into Aquarius. But the problem with that is that when you enter into a new age, its energy is going to be maximum, right? You're entering into the new age, the energy of the old age, just like with, but maybe it's, when I was younger, when winter came, okay, it was boom, right? When summer came. When spring came. There was no mixing like it is now. Okay, you can be in winter and it feels like fall, right? Wasn't like that when I was younger. When winter come, bam, you're in winter. When spring come, bam, Okay, so with the astrological ages, the energy at the very beginning is supposed to be the strongest. And then it tapers off until it dies down, just like the energy at back in the day when I was younger and before. Winter hits, boom, and it gets weaker and weaker. So it grows, right? You get to winter, let's say in October, and y'all know it gets cold in November and December, and then in January, February, but then in March it's cool. But anyway, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've read. I'm just saying what I read. The energy at the beginning of a zodiacal age is supposed to be the strongest, and then it tapers off. All right? And that's how they transition from one season to the next. Okay? Now let's continue. These covenants change every 1,253 years, hence the term, the new covenant. What's that, y'all? The new connecting point, remember? The covenant is really covenants, so the celestial equator, and then the ecliptic. the apparent path of the sun. So where they connect, this is the covenant. So it connects vernal equinox, right? Vernal equinox, and then it connects again in the fall. Celestial equator, all right, and then the apparent path of the sun, which is the ecliptic. So these are the two covenants, the covenant of labor, the covenant of work. Okay, y'all? Hence the term new covenant. New covenant, new zodiacal age. Every 1,253 years, there is a new covenant. Spring is going to come in a new zodiac sign. Autumn is going to come in a new zodiac sign. And then after another 1,253 years, spring is going to come in the next zodiac sign. Remember, we're going backward, the precession of the equinoxes. Okay, y'all? Right? And then next, what's going to happen? It's going to continue repeating that cycle for all 12 cycles. And it happens for eternity, forever, ever, ever, and ever, ever, ever. Forever. And it never, ever, never, ever, ever stops. All right? So there's a new covenant. Springtime will begin in a new zodiac sign every 1,253 years, and so will the autumn covenant. And that's y'all remix of the new covenant or the New Testament. And the blood of the covenant, that is the blood of the grape when it is fully ripe or fully ripened on September 29, not a day before, not a day after. And the blood of the covenant is always the juice of the grape, which is always right when the sun is at the autumn covenant, wherever that covenant may fall. So now that covenant is falling on September 20, well, you can say September, let's say September 29 to be consistent. But it'll fall in August 29. It'll fall in July 29. June 29. Y'all see? Everybody see that? Why? The precession of the equinoxes. The new zodiacal age changes every 1,253 years. All right? Both the spring and the autumn equinox will change. The zodiac signs will change. Okay, let's continue. And this blood has always the efficacy of purifying our consciousness. That is, listen y'all, and this blood of the grape, this vintage process, this wine, which is the product of the blood of the grape, of the grape juice or the blood of the grape, has always the efficacy of purifying our conscience. That is, firing or warming our minds from dead works. Y'all got that? Warming up your mind from dead works. That is, or which means, of refreshing us after the labor of sowing seed. See, dead works mean you didn't do anything. You sat there on your butt. You didn't do anything. But when you go out and work, you sow your seeds. Right? Whatever a man sowed, that he shall also reap. You sow your seeds. And when you get done, go in the house, put your feet up, and have you a nice glass of cold grape juice or a nice glass of wine. Red wine, white wine, whatever you want. Okay? that is of refreshing us after the labor of sowing seed, which is sown in hope, right, in the summer, sown in hope of a glorious resurrection at harvest. Why is it sown in hope? Because you need to have faith. Why? Faith and works must always stay together. And you don't know, nobody knows how a seed might be 10, 15 years, 1, 2, 10, 15, however many years old. Looks like it's dead, but you put it in the ground and then boom, it grows. It's resurrected. Nobody understands that. Nobody knows how that works. So you must have faith. Why? Because you don't know. And for this cause, Christ is the mediator of the New Testament. Y'all got that? Because springtime, the covenant of works, when you plant, and autumn, which is the covenant of charity, the covenant of grace, which is when you receive your bounty, you get your charity, that's going to change. Those are going to happen in 2 different zodiacal signs, which means it's going to happen in 2 different months every 1,253 years. And for this cause, Christ is the mediator of the New Testament. That is, most literally, he goes, he being the S-U-N Son, he being Christ, he goes between our earth and the autumn equinoctial point, which is the new covenant. Y'all see that? Purely natural phenomena. Ain't no religion at all. Hold on, let me get this comment. Radicals write, regarding processing of precession of the equinoxes every 1,253 years, what relationship do you then see to the 144,000? Is there a 13th sign or month? Yeah, I've heard some people say that there is a 13th sign, but other people argue against it. Or should time, daily or yearly, be viewed as different? Well, see, the 144,000 that's in the book of Revelation, these are the years that it will take. Let me see how to simplify that. That's the total number of years that it would take for the ecliptic to go back to 0. You understand? The angle. So here's the celestial equator at 0 degrees. Here's the ecliptic. Right here. This is, according to modern astrologists, not all but most, this angle is supposed to be 23.5 degrees. 23.5 degrees. Okay? But it's going to go back to 0. Let me repeat that. It's going to go back to 0. And that amount of time that it's supposed to take is 144,000 years. So it was Aristotle and someone else who did the equation. But I still haven't found the equation. I found some works on it. But I would like to do the equation myself and just check it. But that's what the relationship is, astrologically. Okay, so what happens, and this I usually only talk about in 506, the Curses course that I teach on Saturday at 10 a.m. So I'm not going to say much. At 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is stuff that I teach in the Curses course. Y'all, the link is in the description area of the video. 506, the Curses course. This is a Zoom course. I teach it live, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in short, the conditions that exist at 0 degrees on Earth, the paradise, right? Those parasitic or paradisaic rather conditions will exist on the Earth again, all over the Earth, when the sun, when the ecliptic is exactly at 0 degrees. Okay? Meow. I don't want to play with you. Bye-bye. Go. I don't like to play with the cats. Y'all know I don't like playing with cats, any animal. I don't have any food for you. Am I? I used to, no, that's okay. If you ever been in well, let me not get off topic. But that's what's happening with that, okay? The 144,000, when you look at it from a natural or natural phenomena point of view, okay, the entire word, and this is where the Jehovah's Witnesses organization get the concept of paradise earth. They don't tell you that. But when you look at their material, especially modern day material, well, I can't say modern day, I haven't looked at their materials in years, but it used to be up until maybe 10, 15 years ago, that they would always have a lot of galaxies, all of this astronomy, I'm going to say astrology, astronomy, astrology stuff on the covers and inside of their magazines, right? But their whole thing is God's kingdom on earth, paradise earth. And that's where that's coming from. They make a big deal about the 144,000 who are supposed to be Christ's brothers, okay? The anointed. But the 144,000 in nature, astrologically, are nothing more than the number of years that it's going to take the angle of the ecliptic to go to zero. Okay, so we're well into that 144,000 number. Anyway, let's keep it moving. I hope I answer your question. It continues. Y'all, the blood of the covenant will always be the blood of the grave. Okay, so to corrupt the blood or the corruption of the blood, they condense that. It should be the corruption of the blood of the covenant, corruption of the blood of the contract. But they condensed it to corruption of the blood. Okay? So when you disrespect nature, when you disrespect natural law, you disrespect yourself. Okay, so you don't appreciate your birthright, it's taken away from you. Okay, it's taken away from you. Okay? Corruption of the blood, you lose everything, you become non-descendable. And the same thing happens to your heirs and your family. Now multiply that out, it can happen to a generation and to a whole empire. In other words, the Moors falling. All right? The natural man and woman falling. And poetic justice falling to what? Falling to be ruled and conquered by the Han Uman that he himself created. How about that? All right, yo? And this blood has always the efficacy of purifying our consciousness that, we already read that. And as for this call, Christ is the mediator of the New Testament. That is, most literally, he goes between our earth and the autumn equinoctial point, which is the new covenant, that by means of death, y'all got that? That by means of death, that is, being crucified, when the sun falls below the celestial equator, it crosses below. Therefore, cross crucified. Okay? That by means of his death, that is, being crucified, that is, the sun sun crossing below the celestial equator, and ducking under the equator, he, that's the sun sun, might redeem and fetch up the stars, because they're all moving. Okay, they're all moving together. So as the sun falls this way, certain other stars are going to ascend or rise. Okay, others will be falling with it. Right? So they're falling here and rising there. Okay? That by means of death, that is, being crucified and ducking under the equator, he, that is the sun, sun, okay, might redeem and fetch up the stars which were in a state of transgression. State of transgression, y'all, that's the winter months, by being under the line of the first covenant. Y'all see that? This is the summer months, the kingdom of the heavens. These are the winter months, October through March, right before the vernal equinox. Okay, so the constellations here are going to move this way. The stars here are going to move this way. As the sun falls, y'all see it's going to rotate. Y'all see that? It's like a fine watch, a precise watch. Okay? That they, which are called, that is, or which means, the stars of the first covenant, and second magnitude. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure I'm not late. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Uh-oh. PVJ writes, hi. But I don't think I'm late. Hold on, y'all. Oh, why is this? What's up? Oh, well. I'm having a hard time. I don't know why. All right, let me finish this up. All right, so it continues. That they which are called, that is, the stars of the first, that's the stars of the first covenant, under the first covenant, as he said, by being under the line of the first covenant, and second magnitude, which the astronomers call by distinct names, might receive the promise of eternal inheritance, that is, or which means, the eternal duration of the universe, that so long as the sun, sun, and moon endureth, quote unquote, seed time, springtime, and harvest, that's autumn, fall, summer and winter, day and night, shall not fail. Y'all see that? So as long as this system is in place, you'll always have the seasons, you'll always have day and night. Okay? The world ain't going nowhere. And thus, sirs, have I given you a rational sense of words, for which I defy your spiritual pastors, generals, captains, officers, imam, mores, moshes, and reverends, and rabbis, and masters to give any sense at all. Yeah, they're not, you go ask them to explain all of this stuff. See what they tell you. And when they can't, they're going to say you need to have faith, or you don't have the spirit. That's why you don't understand. Okay, that's the go-to. That's what they always say. And this, if I am again to be the victim of savages of the gospel, that means all of the haters who went after him because he started telling people the truth. All right? And thus, sirs, I have given you, I already read that. And this, if I am going to be the victim of savages, who are these savages? The magi's, the magistrates, the bankers, right? The secret society members, okay? The secret society members who had these, I'm talking about in North America, who had the government institutions and who had the corporate institutions, who come together in their secret societies and plot and plan on how they're going to destroy you. Because without the religion, their whole system cannot stand. And this, if I am again to be the victim of the savages of the gospel, will be my proof that under the pretext of suppressing what they call blasphemy, see, they suppress this truth. Their hostility is directed solely against learning. I agree 100%. They're hostile toward learning. They want you to be ignorant and stupid and driven by sexual desire and desire for alcohol and women. They want you to be at the level of an animal, which they cannot equal, and science, which is too unprofitable and excellent for them to seek or attain. It's unprofitable for them, for you to know about natural law, about astronomy, astrology, about the Hermetic laws, about astrology, astrotheology. There's no profit in it for them. In fact, they lose everything. So here's something, here's a quote. Let's go ahead and read it. Quote unquote. In the English it reads, "Happy the man who, studying nature's laws." We're on page 273. "Happy the man who, studying nature's laws, through known effects can trace the secret cause." This is a Hermetic law of cause and effect. Okay, through known effects can trace the secret cause. His mind possessing in a quiet state, fearless of fortune, and resigned to fate. Yeah, that all you need to do is live in harmony with natural law, which is another way of saying follow the Most High's commandments. You ain't got to worry about nothing. So in that sense, if God is with you, who can be against you? Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yusapa from Zion Law School. Thanks y'all for joining me. I appreciate your comments, questions. Whatever I can answer, I'll answer, and whatever I cannot, I'll just tell you I don't know the answer. All right. Thanks for supporting my work by being here, but especially those who have sent in Federal Reserve notes or finance to support my project to write the Book of the Law in modern English and Ancient Ibaryath to restore natural law, astronomy, astrology, and the constitutional principles, and so much more, okay? Also, special thanks for y'all. Continue to subscribe to the one-on-one Ancient Ibaryath class. All right, continue doing that. It's only $10 per month, but y'all keep on subscribing. New people subscribe. You're gonna learn a lot. All right, everybody's welcome to come without paying anything. You can come observe every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 506 The Curses course. The links to all my books, or many of my books, and everything I'm talking about now, my PayPal, etc., to donate. You can also donate on my Patreon channel, which is Patreon. I think it's just go to patreon.com and search Zion Law School. You'll see our logo. Okay, y'all can also donate that way if you so choose to. All right, if you so choose to. And then there's a free membership too, if I remember correctly. I think there's a free membership on the Patreon channel. All right, so thanks everybody. Islam to all the Moors, and Shalom.